Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time stopping by, I do suggest you consider subscribing to the channel. When it comes to technical analysis, there's not many channels out there that can provide you with this level of precision or accuracy when it comes on to the charts. With that said, let's now take a look at the Fear and Greed Index. Currently the indicator is at 4, highlighting that the market is still in extreme fear. Let me know down in the comment section if this is a time for you to start selling, or is this a time for you to start accumulating assets? So the last time we saw the Fear and Greed Index this low was back in August of 2024. After that, the market found a bottom and rose to new all-time highs. Now, is this going to be the same playbook? Well, I guess we're going to have to wait and see. So with the heavy sell-off that happened last week, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a look at my updated charts, starting with the VIX. If the VIX get rejected at this level, then look for it to come down to 37.16 and then to 29.50. If this happens, then the market will get a much needed bounce towards the upside. Now, before I get to the next stock, let's listen to what Jeremy Siegel had to say on the current market conditions and whether or not you should be in the markets.
As you're speaking, we should now note the Dow has continued to tumble. We're now down close to 1,000 points on the Dow, and that's picked up steam. That was about half of what it was almost literally 15 minutes ago. The Chinese finance minister making these comments about retaliation. I think the question, therefore, becomes the following. If, in fact, you think the Fed is going to try to mitigate what has turned out, or at least thus far looks like a man-made conundrum, or whatever we're going to call it, do you want to own this market? Or do you think that right now, given everything that's going on, it still has a lot more to go if, in fact, this is going to continue this way? Do you want to be in this market, or do you say everything's now on sale? I don't know the answer.
If you're a long-term investor, you're staying in the market. I'm staying in the market. If you're a trader, there are storms ahead as long as these tariffs remain.
Now let's move on to the first stock, ticker symbol AAPL, Apple. So in my last video about Apple, the stock was at 223. At that point in time, I stated that I was looking for Apple to come down to 205 because of the bear flag that it was in. So with Apple now below my price target at 205, let me now go ahead and give you guys a updated chart. Now currently Apple have support at 188. If that level fails, then look for Apple to come down to 183. Below 183, your next support is at 177. Above current support, there is resistance at 196 and at 205. If Apple can break back above 196, then look for a move to 205. With that said, once this market turns around, I'm looking for Apple to get back to all-time highs at 255. Now let's take another look at Tesla, ticker symbol TSLA. So currently we have Tesla falling below support at 246. If Tesla cannot reclaim this level, then look for it to come down to 215. Below 215, your next support is at 195. Now, if Tesla can get back above 246 and defend that level, then look for a move towards $300 per share. Now, once institutional investor steps in with heavy buying pressure, I'll be looking for Tesla's share price to get to $494. Now, let's take a look at the NASDAQ triple Qs. So, originally I was looking for a bottom around 458 and 453. However, in the overnight trading session, they got the price down below these two key support levels. Now, whenever you have a gap below key support areas, that's an indication that they want to take the price down a bit further. With that said, let me give you guys the levels to watch. So currently the NASDAQ is trying to hold on to support at 423. If it keeps on crashing beneath this level, I want you guys to watch the next support at 412, 406, and at 392. Now, if we break through these levels, I will provide you guys with new updates on the new support and resistance levels to watch. Now, above 423, you have resistance at 453 and at 458. Once the market bottoms out, I'm looking for a run back to all-time highs at $538 per share. Now, before I get to the next stock, let's listen to what Dan Ives had to say about the Magnificent Seven.
I mean, and I think Palantir and others, but if you look at Lockheed and some of the primary, yeah, no doubt, those are ones that held up, I think, a lot better in terms of defensive. But I think devil's in the details, because the reality is when you look at the implementations, you look what comes from foreign perspective, you're talking 40, 50%. A lot of these imitation from a hardware perspective and others. So that's why our view is like what, and to your point, John, is like what are the second, third derivatives? What's the ripple effect? What the demand destruction is? I think investors, if you look here, these stocks are baking in recession into these stocks. If you think it's anything better, and you're basically saying some sort of game of high stakes poker, and there will be negotiation, then these are the names that you ultimately buy. But look, it continues to be, if these tariffs stay, we've said in tech, it's an economic Armageddon.
Now let's have a look at my updated chart on Amazon, ticker symbol AMZN. So currently Amazon has support at 165. If it falls beneath that level, I want you guys to watch support at 160. So above current support, Amazon has resistance at 171 and at 184. With that said, I'm looking for Amazon stock to be worth $257 sometime in the future. Now let's have a look at the next stock. Ticker symbol PLTR, Palantir Technologies. Now in my most recent video about Palantir, I said that should the stock fail to get above $92, you guys should look for it to come back down to $78 per share. As you guys can see, the stock failed to hold above support at $92. And as a result, the stock fell to $78 per share. Exactly like I said it would. So currently Palantir has support at $70 per share. If it falls below that, I want you guys to look for it to come down to $62. Now above $70, Palantir has resistance at $78 and at $92 per share. If the stock can get above $78, then look for a run towards $92. Overall, I'm looking for the stock to rally towards $144 per share. That's a move of 95% from its current price. Alright guys, that concludes my analysis for today. But before I end this video, I do recommend you guys check out the rest of my content. And as always, thanks for watching and see you guys in the next one.